Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a really fascinating journey into the core meaning of happiness. We spend so much of our lives actively chasing it. We're buying things for it, stressing over it, trying to pin it down like a butterfly under glass. But today, we're going to explore the independent, almost uncontainable nature of joy by looking at a brilliant piece of literature. We're going to break down exactly how happiness operates in our daily lives, not as this fleeting emotion we constantly have to pursue and manage, but as a powerful, autonomous force that completely transforms our reality. And that brings us right to this fundamental question. What is the true meaning of happiness? Think about the sheer amount of energy we expend on the treadmill of chasing joy. We buy new cars, we completely change careers, we literally pack up and move across the country, all in the relentless pursuit of this one feeling. We kind of think that if we just arrange the circumstances of our lives perfectly, happiness will finally arrive and, more importantly, stay. But we rarely pause to examine how it actually functions once it gets here. What is its texture? How does it behave? Today, we're going to answer that by visualizing how joy actually works.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. Meet the Poet, Naomi Shihab Nye.
Before we get too deep, let's introduce the architect of today's source material. Naomi Shihab Nye is a highly celebrated Palestinian-American poet, children's writer, and essayist. Her work frequently reflects her rich Arab-American upbringing and experiences. She's been honored numerous times, including winning the prestigious 2013 NSK Neustadt Award for Children's Literature. But here's why her background matters so deeply for us today. She is an absolute master at taking massive, lofty human experiences and anchoring them in beautiful, everyday realities. She finds profound meaning not in the abstract, but right in the ordinary, sometimes difficult realities of daily life.
Moving on to Section 2. Sadness versus happiness, a stark contrast.
So the poem we're exploring today, it's titled So Much Happiness, actually kicks off with a really stark observation about our more difficult emotions. The quote goes like this: "With sadness, there is something to rub against, a wound to tend with lotion and cloth." When the world falls in around you, sadness gives you a tangible task. You literally have pieces to pick up. Think about the psychological comfort of that tangibility in grief. Sadness gives us a job to do, which strangely makes us feel like we have a tiny bit of control. It has a physical weight to it. It requires our immediate, grounded attention. It's something you can physically hold in your hands.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it perfectly isolates the difference. On the left side, look at the heavy, held words associated with sadness. Wounds, lotion, cloth, ticket stubs, change. These are things you can actually touch. They are grounded. But then, shift your attention over to the right. Happiness is entirely intangible. It floats, it sings, it lands on a roof. It needs absolutely nothing. This perfectly maps out how vastly different these two emotional states are in their physical reality. Sadness sits heavy in our hands, while joy completely refuses to be anchored.
Which leads us directly to this profound realization. Happiness floats. It doesn't need you to hold it down. Humans love control, right? We are totally wired to manage, optimize, and organize our lives. But because happiness doesn't need anything from you, it is fundamentally different from grief or sorrow. It isn't a wound you have to actively tend to. It simply lands on the roof of the next house, singing, and it disappears when it wants to. We often try to hold it down, to force it to stay, which, let's be honest, usually just ruins it. The beauty of true joy is that it doesn't require your management to exist. You are happy either way.
Section 3. Defying circumstances. Unanchored joy. Listen to this specific, really striking contrast provided in the text. Even the fact that you once lived in a peaceful treehouse and now live over a quarry of noise and dust cannot make you unhappy. This perfectly illustrates how happiness absolutely refuses to be boxed in by our physical reality. To put that in a more modern context, you could literally experience a major setback, getting a demotion or having to move from a spacious house to a cramped, noisy apartment. But if happiness is present, that physical downgrade cannot strip your joy away. Joy simply isn't dictated by the square footage of your life. So the crucial point is that true happiness does not depend on your environment. Whether you're wrapped in perfect peace or surrounded by chaotic, grinding noise, happiness operates entirely on its own frequency. It doesn't look at the dust or hear the noise and decide to pack its bags and leave. It stays, because it isn't tethered to the physical world in the same way our anxieties or our sadnesses usually are. It is a remarkably resilient force. Bringing us to Section 4, an uncontainable joy, breathing life. The source text notes that when happiness is present, everything wakes up filled with possibilities. Coffee cake and ripe peaches, floors which need to be swept, soiled linen, scratched records. Notice how the poem magically transforms incredibly mundane chores into things we can actively love. I mean, let's be real. Absolutely no one actually enjoys sweeping a dusty floor or doing loads of dirty laundry, but when true joy is present, you don't resent the floor for needing to be swept. The happiness spills over and makes even the messy, repetitive, imperfect parts of life feel beautifully alive. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how that spillover happens. The text reads, "Since there is no place large enough to contain so much happiness, you shrug, you raise your hands, and it flows out of you into everything you touch." Imagine that feeling of raising your hands in total surrender to a positive emotion. Happiness is simply too large for the human body to keep inside. You can't hoard it. You can't contain it. It literally forces you to project it outward, flowing from your hands into your daily tasks, your chores, and the people around you. Which brings us to, honestly, one of the most liberating phrases in the entire piece. You are not responsible. I just want you to sit with that for a second. We live in a culture absolutely obsessed with manifesting, optimizing our moods, and hacking our way to constant joy. And how often do you feel guilty when you just can't sustain it? Well, the text frees us from this modern burden. You aren't responsible for creating it, and you aren't responsible for containing it. It's an autonomous force. Letting go of that responsibility is a deeply radical, life-changing idea. Let's see how this all builds in our final section, Part 5, Sharing the Moon, Conduit of Joy. This right here is the climax of the poem, and it is a truly breathtaking metaphor. Read this with me. You take no credit, as the night sky takes no credit for the moon, but continues to hold it and share it, and in that way, be known. I want you to really visualize the night sky for a moment. It's vast, dark, completely open. The night sky doesn't invent the moon. It doesn't manufacture it. It doesn't build it out of sheer willpower. It simply provides the open space to hold it, so that the rest of the world can see the light. That is exactly what we do with happiness. We don't own it. We don't invent it. We are simply conduits. We merely hold it when it arrives, and we share it with the world around us. And by sharing it, just like the night sky, we become known. So as we wrap up our exploration in this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative question. How will you share your moon today? Happiness isn't something you have to tightly grip or frantically chase down. When it lands on your roof singing, your only job is to open up and let it flow out of you into everything you touch. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope these insights give you a deeper understanding of the core meaning of happiness and maybe help you view the joy in your own life just a little bit differently.